Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the graduates of 2013 of UBC Okanagan campus. Please be seated, and I'll let you know when our Chancellor's procession is arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession.
Please remain standing. My name is Sarah Morgan Sylvester, and I am honored to be the Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Please join us in the singing of O Canada, led by our University Marshal, Nancy Hermiston, Director of the Opera and Voice Program at the UBC School of Music.
True patriot love
Thank you very much, Nancy. We respectfully acknowledge the traditions and customs of the Okanagan Nation and its people, in whose traditional territories we are gathered today. At this time, I would like to invite Betty Jean Cardenas, member of the Okanagan Nation, to sing the Okanagan Song. Thank you so much, Betty Jean. We pause for a moment to give thanks, spiritual and temporal, for the blessings we share in this wonderful world, this great country, this blessed province, this splendid university, these proud students, their families and friends. We give thanks especially for this most happy occasion. Please be seated. Well, a warm welcome to you all, to our 2013 graduates, to your parents, family, and friends who are joining you here today in this celebration of your achievement. What a wonderful and long-awaited day. Congratulations. Spring is my favorite time of year. Gardens burst into growth, fruit trees blossom, the sun feels great, It's definitely stopped raining. No longer vitamin D deprived, we seem to smile a bit more and have a bounce in our step. Newly energized, we clean house and plant seeds. Spring is a time of growth and rejuvenation, and like this graduation ceremony, it's also a celebration of transition. Any transition, while exciting, is a challenge. Adjusting from student to full-time employment, from undergraduate to graduate studies, from what you are now to what you will be in the future. Facing any change of magnitude takes a degree of courage. I'm a gardener, so I see spring up close, and it's not always pretty. I cut tent caterpillar nests out of fruit trees, clip off rose leaves infected with black spot, and use the garden hose to rinse away aphids. Spring can be frustrating. I can't grow beets for the life of me, and I am endlessly weeding. Spring brings unexpected results, like my clematis. Carefully positioned to climb up, hide a downspout, and run along the top of my garage, I planted that clematis 3 times. And finally, this spring, success. Not as expected with clematis number 3, but with the first plant, long ago forgotten and written off as a failure. Spring and setbacks go hand in hand. But then I'm not sure you can have growth and rejuvenation without the odd setback. The 100-Foot Journey, a novel by Richard Moraes, is about transition. Hassan Haji, a Muslim born in Mumbai, is raised in a culinary family. His grandfather has a tiffin lunch delivery service, and then later a modest restaurant. They live in transition on the edges of a slum. As Hassan says, we were not of the shanty town or of the upper classes of Malabar Hill, but instead lived on the exposed fault line between these two worlds. Living on an exposed fault line does not sound comfortable, but many of us do exactly that as we struggle to reconcile our home life and our work world, our cultural roots and the culture of the place where we live today, our family's expectations and our own hopes and dreams. I once believed that transition consisted of a concrete series of events with a clear start and a definite ending, like going to university and successfully graduating. But now, I think life is an overlapping series of transitions, and it is not always comfortable. Looking back, perhaps one of the greatest benefits of attaining my UBC degree was that the process made me decidedly uncomfortable. I was challenged with living on my own, making new friends, understanding new concepts. There was certainly frustration and the odd setback. But like spring, it was a period of great personal growth. I hope we've made you a bit uncomfortable too. And with that, given you the tools to not just cope, but thrive with transition. In the 100-Foot Journey, Hassan's mother understands the importance of new experiences and exposes him to different cultures through food. They dine at a French restaurant together. And in Hassan's words, the strangeness of the place overwhelmed me. I didn't know where to begin with this stiff menu, such exotic-sounding dishes like bouillabaisse and coq au vin, and I looked panic-stricken at my mother. But Mummy smiled kindly and said, "Never be afraid of trying something new, Hassan. Very important. It is the spice of life." A university is like a smorgasbord of new things. And while sometimes it may feel as though you've been drinking out of a fire hose, your next new experience is just around the corner. As you graduate, your challenge is to keep finding ways to have those new experiences. Experiences that make you feel just a bit uncomfortable. Now, I'm not suggesting that you be one of the 35 and counting Canadians signed up for the Mars One project, but it is important to keep your world large, to seek and embrace change. Those changes don't need to take you to new planets. Sometimes the most challenging transitions are those closest at hand. For example, the title, The 100-Foot Journey, refers to the distance between the only two restaurants in a small French village. The Haji's larger-than-life, boisterous East Indian restaurant and a traditional 2 Michelin star French restaurant and country inn. The journey may only be 100 feet, but it is the most uncomfortable and difficult part of Hassan's transition from cook to truly great chef. When I was first asked to be UBC's volunteer chancellor, the thought made me a little uncomfortable too. After all, I'm not an academic. My background is in business. But I try to do something that scares me on a regular basis. And you know what? I found that this group isn't really that scary after all. The rewards and my own personal growth have been immense. And one of the greatest rewards is the opportunity to confer degrees on all of today's graduating students. So let me end my comments by offering you my warmest and most sincere congratulations on your achievement. Change is a challenge. Just ask astronaut Chris Hadfield, now transitioning back to Earth's gravity. Even so, I do hope you will seek out the exposed fault line and experience the growth of your own personal spring. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Toop, and I have the honor to serve as President and Vice Chancellor of the University of British Columbia. Madam Chancellor, Madam Chair of the Board of Governors, distinguished colleagues, honored guests, members of the UBC graduating class of 2013. You are graduating into a complicated and perplexing world. Of course, most generations probably think that their time is particularly tough. So perhaps we should all just get a grip. You could be completing your studies in 1348 at Cambridge, facing the Black Death. Graduating in 15th century Salamanca, subjected to the Spanish Inquisition. From 1835 at Trinity College, Dublin, with famine all around you from the potato scourge. Or in 1943, most anywhere in the world, surrounded by war and fear. Our troubles and worries are real, but they are less daunting. Yet it's true that the world is complicated and perplexing. but have courage. Have courage. Few people on earth are better prepared to take the world on, complicated as it is, than you. And that's because you have the gift of a university education. Not free, but a gift nonetheless. A gift still denied to the vast majority of people on earth. Here's what Albert Einstein had to say about studying. Teaching should be such that what is offered is perceived as a valuable gift and not as hard duty. Never regard study as duty, but as the enviable opportunity to learn how to know the liberating influence of beauty in the realm of the spirit for your own personal joy and to the profit of the community to which your later work belongs. In this brief quote, Einstein ties together 4 important ideas. First, that teaching and learning are gifts to the individual student. Second, that they're enviable opportunities, enviable precisely because they're not afforded to everyone. Third, teaching and learning are liberating because they're beautiful in and of themselves. And fourth, they also help the wider community because of what the students will have to offer as a result of their studies. I want to focus briefly on that 4th point, that education is a gift not only to the individual student, but to the entire community. In the most obvious sense, the gift is an offering of what could be called skills. An educated person, whether a journalist, a doctor, plumber, chemist, or engineer, has a set of skills that can be deployed to create economic value. Governments all around the world are currently fixated with this limited notion of education as a means to generate the skills required to fuel the economy. Now, in times of profound economic change like our own, governments are also rightly concerned to ensure that the skills people are learning match jobs that will be available. But the risk for society and for governments is that they'll keep their sights too low, looking at what's immediately in front of us, but failing to see the even greater economic and social changes just over the horizon. But if we raise our eyes only a little bit, we can see that skills are more than simply content knowledge, more than the technical ability to perform a given function, like removing an appendix or adding up a column of numbers or fitting a pipe. The skills that we need in our fast-changing society include the ability to work effectively together in teams, to sift, analyze, and evaluate the plethora of information with which we're bombarded minute by minute, to draw creative connections between seemingly disparate phenomena. I could go on. The gift of education to our community, in Einstein's terms, is not merely technical knowledge. It's critical capacity, creativity, and empathetic judgment, the bread and butter of a university education. Let me conclude by pursuing the argument one step further. I fear that one of the main reasons that so many governments today short-sightedly conflate education and the acquisition of technical skills is that they've lost sight of who we, the people, are. I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but more and more often, governments all around the world describe the people they serve as taxpayers. All well and good, but we're much, much more than that. We're citizens. The great judge Louis Brandeis of the U.S. Supreme Court once described citizenship as the most important office. He was right. Without engaged, active citizens, no form of governance can be healthy. And engaged, active citizenship is promoted by a good education. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be a good citizen without an education. There are millions of examples to the contrary. But the first aim of education is, I believe, to help us all become better citizens, not just of countries, but of the world. And that's why we so often talk of leadership amongst our students, why education is so much more than the acquisition of technical skills. Taxpayers are essentially passive, doing their legal duty and writing their checks. Citizens voice opinions and organize their societies. They take action in the face of inequality and injustice. Educated citizens deploy their critical capacity, creativity, and empathetic judgment to become leaders of citizens. That is your potential, and one that I wish our governments would more firmly embrace. As I end, consider this encouraging idea from the great cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. If you think there are things out there in the world that need changing, go out and try to make it happen. Be engaged citizens. That's what education is all about. Good luck to each and every one of you, and congratulations. It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Deborah Buzzard, Deputy Vice Chancellor and Principal of our Okanagan campus, to make remarks and to introduce other speakers.
Thank you, President Toop. The graduates of 2013 are among the builders of this new UBC. And indeed, through your time here, you have made the University of British Columbia richer by your presence, and you continue to do so by the promise that you take with you out into the world. What an experience you have had over the past 4 years, and perhaps for some of you even longer, perhaps for some of you for the last 7 years here, to see this campus actually take shape. The huts, the mud, the building sites, you've seen it all. It's really grown and changed. When you began as students here, you were encouraged to make this university experience your own. Many times during your years of study, you have seen and heard the UBC motto, Tuum Est. It's behind me on these big blue screens. It translates as, it's yours, or to you, or up to you. And now that you're graduating, this phrase takes on a new meaning. The future, in fact, is up to you. We live in a world of rapid transformation as technological changes compel us to do things differently, to live in a more connected fashion than at any time in the past. Much of this is good. We're coming to our senses with regard to the environment. Social injustice is harder to hide and harder to hide from. And advances in healthcare hold the promise of improving billions of lives. But much remains that we can and must change. International strife, famine, and too many gross injustices continue to undermine the civil and sustainable world that we all seek. And this is where you will shine, where your impact will be felt throughout your careers in business, education, across the arts and sciences, in politics or health. Your UBC education and experiences have equipped you to take leadership, to improve your communities, and to contribute to the world in so many meaningful ways. Simply put, we, and I would single out my generation, look to you to make this world our world a better place. We know that you're smarter than us and that you have the capacity to be bold and to make a great contribution. I speak for our entire campus community in saying that we are very proud to have been part of your preparation for the challenges and opportunities ahead. We have given you our very best. You've benefited from the wonderful professors here, the opportunities to learn and grow far beyond the classroom, from your peers and beyond the campus. And we have grown and learned from you. And so it's natural that we have tremendous hope for the future, because we know our future is very much in your capable hands. I'll quote Nelson Mandela, a man who completed his university studies in a prison in South Africa. Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world, and we know that you will change the world. I close with my sincere congratulations on your achievements that have brought you to this point. Our university aspires to change the world, and you make real our ambitions. It is over to you now. Tuum est. Think and act boldly, innovate and contribute. You can and must make the world a better place. We wish you all the greatest of success in the new journeys you begin today. Thank you. I'm pleased at this time to call upon Mr. Tim Krupa, a member of the graduating class and Executive Chair and Financial Coordinator of the UBC Students' Union Okanagan, to make remarks and to introduce the gifts to the university. Tim.
Thank you so much, Professor Buzzard. Madam Chancellor, President Toop, honored guests, and fellow graduates, some might argue that sitting in a gymnasium on this beautiful Okanagan summer day might not be the most conducive atmosphere for critical thought. But today, like all good scientists, we will attempt to refute this one last hypothesis. First, I should say that I'm pleased to announce the legacy gift from our graduating class, a commemorative stone tablet. And when you depart today, I invite you to pass through the main courtyard walkway, where you'll find this enduring tribute to proud alumni who once worked, played, inspired, and were inspired here in this place of mind. Now let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of this day and consider why our lives will never be the same. Some might be familiar with the work of the late Neil Postman, a cultural critic who dreamed for years of delivering a university commencement address, but sadly was never granted the opportunity. I'd like to honor his immense wisdom on this exceptional day. In a stirring piece, Postman wrote of two formerly dominant groups whose influence remains among us. These two groups represented opposing values, and Postman argued that soon we, as graduates, must align ourselves with the spirit of one or the spirit of the other. The first group was the Athenians in ancient Greece. They were characterized by their passion for knowledge, creativity, and advancement of civilization. They developed a complete alphabet and became the first literate population on Earth. They invented a political democracy, which they practiced with a vigor that puts us to shame. They invented philosophy, logic, and science. Democritus actually conceived of the atomic theory of matter some 2,300 years before it occurred to any modern-day scientist. They even invented the Olympics, and among their values, none stood higher than excellence and teamwork. Eventually, the Athenian civilization declined, but their imagination, art, politics, language, literature, and science endured and spread across the world. The second group was the Visigoths. They were marauders who overpowered others in fearsome displays of ruthlessness and savage brutality. Their language lacked subtlety and depth, They operated merely as individuals, and they swept through Europe and overran the Roman Empire. The Visigoths ushered in the Dark Ages, leaving behind no new social structures, art, nor poetry. No logic, no science, no humane politics. Now, forgive me for a moment for painting these as such black and white caricatures. The point I wish to make is that the Athenian and Visigoth tendencies still survive through us in the ways in which we conduct our lives. There are those whose way of looking at the world reflects the way of the Athenians, and those who reflect the way of the Visigoths. We all organize our lives around a set of values. Allow me to now propose 3 illustrations to contrast the value sets of Athenians and Visigoths. First, consider knowledge. To be an Athenian is to hold knowledge, and especially the quest for knowledge, in the highest esteem. To contemplate and reason, to question and experiment, to imagine and to create. And to an Athenian, these are the most exalted activities one can perform. But a Visigoth, in contrast, finds the quest for knowledge useless, unless it can help one gain power or money over others. As a second illustration, consider interest in public affairs and social development. The ancient Athenians actually had a word for those who did not value these human virtues, idiotus, from which we derive our modern word idiot. But a Visigoth, in contrast, focuses only on their own well-being and has no sense of a broader community or genuine public progress. Third, consider social behavior. Athenians understand that the thread which holds civilized society together is both thin and vulnerable. So to an Athenian, bad manners are acts of violence against the social order. But to Visigoths, they think of themselves as the center of the universe, and good manners are nothing but a burden. And so what does this have to do with all of us being here today? In the coming years, we'll make choices that direct us down one value path or the other, Athenian or Visigoth. And the choice is ours to make. To M.Sc, it is up to us. But we, as a species, are more naturally inclined to be a bit self-focused. Some argue that we're all naturally born Visigoths, and perhaps that's why there are so many more Visigoths than Athenians today. Because it's much more difficult to be an Athenian, as one must learn how to become one. It is an art to be practiced, a way of life to be mastered. And so whether we were aware of it or not, one purpose of us having been here at UBC was to provide a glimpse of the Athenian way, to expose us to the ways of critical analysis, public consciousness, excellence, and teamwork. Now, thinking back to our first year, I'm actually a little bit disheartened to recall how some of us worked and studied independently, so we didn't somehow help up here for fear of boosting the class average. We subscribed to the fallacy that the success of others might somehow diminish our own. Perhaps we were Visigoths. In time, however, we grew to understand the dysfunction of this thinking. And now we can appreciate how much easier it is to solve the complex problems by working together as a team. Now, I personally believe that our generation's challenges are the most daunting our species has ever seen. There are diseases to prevent and cure, biodiversity to preserve, tools to invent, politics to repair, knowledge to discover, energy to sustain, children to educate, poverty to eradicate, and wars to end. But try as I might, I can't imagine how those challenges can be met without those Athenian values. For those values will need to inform everything in our day-to-day lives. From the places we work, to the investments we make, to the purchases we place, to the ways in which we treat one another. The challenges are too great to go back to being individuals and Visigoths, and I believe we as a species will decline and disappear if we do. We simply cannot rely on any one person or discipline alone, for our whole must be greater than the sum of our individual ambitions. And so, as we leave this place today, I will dream of a future where in this graduating class, the Athenians mightily outnumber the Visigoths. Fellow alumni of the University of British Columbia, together, like the Athenians, let's go change the world. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Tim. This is the moment that everyone's been waiting for. Will the candidates for degrees please rise? Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting the candidates for degrees who have successfully completed their studies and fulfilled the conditions that the university has set for them. The Okanagan Senate of this university recommends them to you for the degrees that will be announced by a representative of the faculties. As each degree is officially conferred, the Dean of the Faculty, and in the case of graduate students, the Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, will congratulate the student. Arnie Smith and Margaret Sanford, members of the alumni community, will present each student with an alumni gift. The candidates will please be seated.
Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Wen Zhu. Dr. Zhu synthesized new molecules containing the metal chromium and used X-ray diffraction to determine their exact structure. His research demonstrated that understanding where the electrons are in these organometallic molecules is critical for their use as catalysts for radical carbon-carbon bond forming reactions for organic synthesis. Dr. Zhu. Natasha Nikki Newman. Dr. Newman used water chemistry to study the interactions between surface water and groundwater in a variety of landscapes. She demonstrated the importance of hydrological connectivity and the distribution of water flow paths in supporting aquatic ecosystems, including functions such as salmon spawning, nutrient cycling, and minimum flows. Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science. Taylor Craig Holland. Lilia Dimitrova Kotseva. Jocelyn Marie Madeira. Ethendar Rajandiran. Mohammed Lukman Syed Sarkar. Nadia Sokol. Jessica Pilfold. Elizabeth Strom. Mason Sheldon Vandal. Sean Kuchta. Chantal Margot Venturi. Emily Gustafson. Mohammed Faisal Rahman. Katrina Ann Williams. Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of recommending to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science. Derek Rollo. Rochelle Tonkin. Catherine Wanup. Jensen Lund. Justin Kearse. Michael Longworth. Talon Schaefer. Douglas A. Whitelaw. Sandy Hu Win. Shane E. Koriath. Kyle Mernickel. Kelsey J. Wickett. Crystal Agar. Chipaka Emma Boali. Gerline Gill. Kristen Jamie Small. Mansak Tantakach. Sorry, I'll try again. Tantakach Korniak. Sorry, it's a very hard name. Jenna Biolo. Kirk Dane Dixon. Jonathan Garcia. Ryan Theodore Gardner. Ian Douglas Hart. Emily Nicole Crayoll. Erica Micasso. Brooke McConnell. Brandon Oram. Megan Passmore. Alistair Hart. Anastasia Ivanusik. Richard Lee. Colby James Fleming Finney. Max Hewitt. Casey Brian Pearson. Jas Paul Tatley. Kyla Kasian. Eric Paul Wine. Rodney Earl. Cody Clark. Andras Moldovan. Kevin Paul Hickerson. Andrew Ingram. Justin Lee. Tyson Charles Olichuk. Luke Riker Warkosh. Jonathan Haller. Andrew Yankovich. Jonathan N. Beppel. Heather Jean Ling. Amy Lauren Fair. Jordan Harrington. Yilin Wang. Nicole Marie Dale. Shelby Joy Snow. Garrett Anstedt. Erin Grace Courtney. Andrea Demoskoff. Philip Alexander Juke. Ian Richard Lozon. Jamie McDonald. Lynn Miao. Christopher A. Pera. Sofia Ramos Ejas. Josh D. Stosky. Gordon Thomas Watkins. Michael Weldon. Malaya Lozier. Jeff Petillionaire. Go ahead. Amy Elizabeth Thompson. Natasha Michelle Garner. Saffron Lee Roth. That's all right. Go ahead. Fraser C. Cashian. Matt Klutwick. Lindsay LaRue. Yun Jung Kim. Rochelle Ogilvie. Go ahead. John Buchanan. Jody Lynn Foster. Timothy Eugene Krupa. Jessica Margaret Ann Burian. Madam Chancellor, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the recipient of the University of British Columbia Medal in Science, Mallory Flynn, Bachelor of Science. Crystal Paris. Aliaisha Arza. Kelsey May Ching. Jennifer Michelle Cook. Ellen Cusano. Garrett Kulos. Brittany Dawn Courvoisier-Nicol. Nikki Celeste Krogfoss. Carrera Bandman. Erin Christine Fossey. Laura Christine Feeney. Connie Lapka Liang. Kieran Kaur Lidher. Sarah Smith. Rhiannon Louise Wallace. Tristan T. Watson. Kada Penny. Taylor W. Armbrust. Brandon Michael Bates. Pavan Bengag. Heather Ann Blackwell. John M. Borsch. Shanice Haig. Keegan Hoffman. Allison Johnson. Candace Nicole Klassen. Kai W. Lesak. Kaylee Rosemary Matsumoto. Amanda McClellan. Jacob McTaggart. Marissa Nooner. Katie Norman. Ellison O'Brien. Braden Glynn Pistaka. Alana Marie Stilla. Stephen Faraday Watson. Jessica Wendy Wong. Kevin Wong. Ashley Yip. Jessica Mercedes Cavero. Zachary Donaldson Hall. Maria Google. Laura Brooke Finney. Sierra Brianne Padmoroff. Michelle Rebecca Sawatsky. Alana Hope Kent. Courtney Marie Rudy. Lisa Catherine Guidi. Ashna Jassy. Andrew Timothy Vergara. Aisha K. Banwer. John Michael Waffler. Alexandra Blight. Rajan Barar. Lisa Bowie. Stephen Andrew Clements. Taylin Culling. Melissa L. Eden. Amrita Gill. Evan Hagan. Sarah Markey Crail. Stephen James McHugh. Stephanie McKnight. Abdul Aziz Maimam. Ryan M. Simpson. Anina van Rensburg. Jesse Van Bergen. Robert Weckel. Brandon Beaton. Brittany Shammerhorn. Matthew Glover. Eliza Susan Mays. Christina Valance. Brianna Catherine Allen. Marielle Montero Wilson.
So here comes the important bit. For those graduates who have just crossed the stage today, and for all of those who were unable to attend today's ceremony, with respect to the appropriate degrees as shown in the program, I hereby admit you. Will all the graduates please rise? It has been my great pleasure to meet and congratulate each member of today's graduating class. You've each invested a great deal of determination, focus, and hard work in obtaining your degree. And now, just as you graduate, this would be a perfect time for you to turn around and show your appreciation for the support of your parents, family, and friends by giving them a big round of applause. Having crossed this stage today, you are now members of the Convocation of UBC. You are in good company. Since UBC began granting degrees in 1916, more than 290,000 women and men have crossed a stage just like this one to receive their degree and have gone on to build our communities and shape our society. As alumni, your relationship with UBC is beginning anew. You can maintain your voice in the affairs of UBC through your elected members in Senate, by mentoring today's students, or by participating in UBC's many volunteer opportunities, both here and abroad. And as lifelong learners, you're always welcome to come back and take a course or two. I encourage you to stay involved and be part of the future of this great institution. You have so much to offer UBC, as it still has much to offer you. To Amest. Please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings our ceremony to a close. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I, and that all of you will be able to join us for refreshments, which will be served immediately after the ceremony in the courtyard in that direction. Guests are requested to remain in their places until the academic processions have left the building. Thank you all for joining us today. I know you will join with me in congratulating for one last time the graduates of 2013 of the University of British Columbia.
Thank you.